One of my favourite tactics for fishing on the bottom on any water is a solid PVA bag. Now, I've caught carp up and down the country on this from a variety of waters, and it really is devastating. I fish a real short hook length, perhaps 3 to 4 inches, a small little balanced bait with a 3.5 ounce inline lead tied to the end of a lead core leader. Now, all of this pops inside the bag, which I'll show you in a minute, and I'll talk about my bag mix, and that is what I believe to be one of the most devastating tactics for fishing on the bottom. The only downside to it, potentially, is the fact that it is such an effective rig at catching fish that if you've got tension bream on you, you'll nail them every time, and that's when I have to come off the solid bag and switch over to a normal lead clip just to stop catching bream and tench. But if they're not in the swim, that will nail carp on any water in the country, guaranteed. You can fish it over a bed of bait, which I like to do, but you can also, perhaps in the winter, just throw the bags that's showing fish out to the middle, anywhere where fish are showing, solid bag, cast out to showing fish, and that's normally a winner. Anyway, I'm going to talk you through my bag mix, and then I'm going to show you how to tie up the bag. One of the most important factors fishing PVA bags is what you put inside the PVA bag. Now, my mix consists of all small pellets. I like to fish, I don't go over 2 mil, I keep everything below 2 mil. I like a big mixture of pellets as well, so I've got trout, halibut, carp pellets. Also, a very interesting product I put in there is salmon fry crumb. I also liquidise up some nuts, put them in there as well, because I like to fish a nut hook bait, which I'll get onto in a minute, but a little bit of liquidised nuts, that helps as well. The reason I use the small pellets is because you can fill the bags up. If you use big pellets, the bag, you get lots of air pockets in the bag, and when you cast it out, it tends to wobble around and flop and doesn't go so far. But when you fill all the air voids, you can make it nice and compact, and it will fly for a long way. You can cast them in excess of 100 yards quite easily with the right PVA bag mix. So that's the main mix. Also, when the PVA bag breaks down, you get a nice little pile of all small particles, and when a fish comes in, it's just enough for a mouthful for the fish to suck up. If I just talk you through my rig a second as well, what I've got on this occasion is a tiger nut. I sometimes fish small fluoro pop-ups inside it as well, but what I do with the tiger nut is I drill a bore through the middle. I then insert a piece of cork through the middle of the bore, and then I trim the cork down and test it in the margins until my bait slowly sinks down, so it's really balanced. All my baits I fish inside PVA bags are always balanced, so they really slowly sink, and you just got to test them in the margins till you get it right. The reason for this is when the bag breaks down, you've got a nice little mound of pellets all around your hook bait, and your hook bait is actually buried, but the hook bait just slightly pops up through the top, and you can just see the top of the hook bait hanging out the little mound of bait. And as the carp comes in, as it sucks the mound of pellets, because your hook bait is so balanced, it shoots up into the fish's mouth. Even if it's not intentionally going for your hook bait, it's sucking up that hook bait because it's so balanced. That's one of the reasons why the rig is so effective. I'm now going to talk you through how to tie up the bag. There's lots of different sizes of PVA bags, but the one I tend to stick to, and the one I prefer for most of my fishing, is the mini PVA bags, not the perforated ones. They come with perforated holes already in them, but I like to use the mini plain solid PVA bags. It's perfect. You don't want too much bait, but you don't want too little bait, and these I find are just about a mouthful, which is all you want to attract that fish to just come down and suck up that small mouthful of bait. First of all, what I'm going to do is I just put my 2 fingers into the bag just to open it up, and then I just slip my rig in between my fingers into the bottom of the bag. I then just push the lead into there. I then need to manoeuvre my hook bait so that it's up near one of the corners, and my hook is facing upwards inside the PVA bag, as you can see. Now that's ready to go. All I need to do now is fill it up with my little pellet mix. I always use a spoon to do this, nice and delicate, teaspoon. I don't use that for stirring my tea, but here we go. I'll just fill it up with pellets, my little pellet mix, nice and easy. Fill it about 3/4 full, should be about right. Just give it a shake. As you can see, it's almost 3/4 full. Then I just push the lead into it. Just work it in there with your fingers, keep working it in there. And then what you'll find, you'll just need to put a little top up on top of a few more pellets with the spoon. And there we have it. As you can see, it's nice and compact already. All I'm going to do now is just make sure it's nice and compact. There's no air pockets in there. Take the bag by the top and just twist it. Keep twisting, and it's starting to take shape now. Just mould it with your hands to get it to the right shape. Then I'm going to take some PVA tape. I'll just bite some off, and I'll just do 2 turns, 1, 2 turns round the top to seal it off, and then you just swivel it over and rest it down and do an overhand knot just to finish the bag off. Sometimes I just do 2 overhand knots just to make sure that it doesn't slip, and the bag's starting to take shape. Now all I'm going to do is just trim off all the excess PVA. You don't want loads of excess PVA hanging around, so I'll just trim it off with my scissors. Trim off the excess bag around the top, around the lead core. Make sure you don't cut through the lead core. The last little bit there, so it's all nice and neat and tidy. And it's starting to almost look like the finished article. The next step is you've got a little seam across the bottom. All I need to do is just lick across the seam, just a little bit of saliva, and just fold it over. Now what you get is the corners are sticking out a little bit, which just makes it wobble in air, makes it not very aerodynamic. So all I need to do is just work the pellets into the corner to make it nice and rounded. And again, with a little bit of saliva, just going to lick the corner and fold the flaps over. Now I've got a nice rounded corner. Just going to spin it round. Do the same on this side. Just push the corners in. Give it a lick. Just fold it over. And I've got a nice rounded off end. There we have it, the finished article. Give it a go.